And happy Faz Friday, Mr. Zorro. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How are you? How you been this week?
Oh, I'm telling you, I am very happy it's Friday. I've got tonight it's the Francis Coppola Cabernet
Ooh,
Sauvignon Diamond Collection from
nice.
2021. And it's
First,
smooth as butter.
nice. First trying that one, or just it's
Yeah,
give it a couple
it's
times.
my first time. So my poor wife she spoils me relentlessly, right? So she knows I
Yeah.
like to sip on some wine during FazRadio, so she'll stop and get me a brand new bottle every Friday on her way home from work. And I have all these bottles that I've tried. I have some favorites. There were a couple that were tasted like I was drinking camel piss. I mean,
Mm.
but for the most part, there's some really really good cabs out there that are under the radar. You know, a decent price for a decent bottle of wine. We have a lot of wineries around where I live, so we get a lot of really good local wines.
Right. That's cool. That's good. Actually, I am not a wine drinker, but I drink a lot of scotch, which is my favorite one, and I think it's the best drink for me. But you get different. Everybody have different tastes, and wine is actually good as well. But you know, and I think I tried wine before, but I like more that smoky drink in my taste.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy that as well. And if I'm like out socializing and so forth, I like Bacardi and Coke with a little lime
Oh,
twist.
oh, that's a
I
good one.
used to be a big drinker years ago, and I cut back almost all of it out. You could almost like borderline alcoholic me there for a number of years. But the older I got, I couldn't handle it anymore, and I still enjoy some good whiskey, some good scotch. But for just a casual night on the airwaves here, I prefer wine now over the spirits. And
Yeah.
the beer, I can't even do beer anymore. I drank so much beer. The thought of beer, the smell of beer, I'm like, ugh, it's
Well,
rough.
remember something when the machines get all beer and other stuff, you cannot take it anymore.
Well, I'm telling you, because I mean, there was a point where back in the borderline alcoholic days, I would drink a 12 pack a day and not even
Right.
think anything of it, you know.
Wow.
And my body, that was 15 years ago, and my body woke me up one morning and was like, no, you can't do this anymore. You just can't. And so then, I got rid of the beer, and I would sip on, the vodka, or I
Mm.
went through a whiskey phase and everything else. I love that stuff. My father-in-law gets all these cool whiskeys when we go over
Mm.
there, and he's got the whole thing, the whole setup, right? Where you do the smoker thing, and there's all the different types of smoke you can infuse with the whiskey and all
Right.
this stuff. I absolutely love that. But yeah, just sitting around like this, I get some good Cabernet, and I'm good, man.
Nice. That's good. Hey, we have to enjoy life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you do. And after these weeks, I know you've been busting your butt all week as well. So
Yeah.
we do. We got to celebrate it. And Friday is the first day of my liver's work week, right?
Wow. That's uh hey, and just taking some good time, enjoying your time is important
Mm-hmm.
too.
It is.
It's good for people. So what do we have tonight for the show?
All right. So look, now I know you're itching over there. You love talking your politics. I'm going to skirt it for you. I'm going to kind of weasel my way around it a little bit, but we're not going to get into politics
But
because
hold on. Let me stop you right there. I'm sorry, but that's the hot topic right now. Like politics now becomes more deep into the crypto market, and all I want to say is that I think we have good support people now behind us, in terms of the government. So we'll see what happens.
Well,
Um,
that is one of the topics I wanted to skirt. The other is the media portion of it, which will skirt kind of the politics. But absolutely,
right.
let's talk about that, because both markets, both the stock market and the crypto market, instantly before the results were even in fully on Tuesday, was going through the roof. And
Yes.
now here's the thing. I love that stuff. And me being a financial planner for over a decade, you see this stuff happen. They're the one-time events. Do you think, though, that this is sustainable? Is it going to keep creeping up, or do you think this is bang, we're going to drop again and then go flat? What do you think?
Well, in my opinion, to be honest with you, I think it's kind of new and it's too early to see what's going to happen. I mean, the regular economy is still will still have we still are in a very very bad position. But I mean, the big question will be if the crypto market is supposed to save us. I don't know. Probably a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends that they have been telling me, well, now we have with the crypto market, and crypto market is doing this and that, da da da. But we'll see what happens. I think the crypto market has been around for a few years, but uh, I think a lot of people don't understand and don't know about the crypto market as well. So it's going to take a lot of big time education for people, for I mean, whole um, humanity to understand about the crypto market as well. There is a big communities out there. I think U.S. people start getting more into crypto and start knowing about the crypto market, but I don't think so. I don't think that we will not have enough people, uh, related to the crypto market as well. So, I think it will take some time. The good thing is that now we have government involved, um, supporting the crypto market, and that could be a good opportunity.
It could. I see only two issues that could mess up the crypto market, though. Number one are these ETFs. The ETFs are going to appeal to people who don't want to deal with crypto but want the crypto exposure. So that's going to suck a lot of the money that's actually going to be, that would go into normal crypto like Bitcoin or Ethereum. I mean, they have a million of these things they're trying to get spot ETFs for. But I do think, oh, we lost Zorro. I do think that it will suck a lot of that money that was going to come back into the crypto market. And I think that's why they are so adamant about getting these ETFs up there, because it allows people to invest in crypto, but on Wall Street's rules. And we know the stock market is full of just stupidity. It's rigged against you. And that will suck a lot of those crypto dollars back out. That's why I was kind of curious. I'm like, you'd think that Wall Street would jump on these ETFs, because that would take the money that would normally go into crypto and pull it into the actual stock market, because they were bleeding for a long time. That's the first thing I think that'll affect it. Second, I don't think people fully trust the regulation yet. We know there's going to be regulation. I'll fight against it till the end of time, but there's going to be some type of it. I just hope it's very, very little. But anyway, people don't trust that yet after being burned so many times. So I think it'll be a slow drip as compared to people aping in like they did before.
Right. Can you hear me? Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you froze there for a minute. Then all of a sudden you were like, bink, and you were gone. So good. I'm glad you made it back.
Yeah, I think I had a little glitch here, and then something happened when I went back to the. But I was listening to what you were saying. Yes, I think I agree with that. These people actually, the government in that this government that is going to be involved in the cryptocurrency and the crypto market. Uh, yes, we want, and people all the time is asking for regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I don't think they don't know how to regulate these things. Obviously, because it's a new system, it's a new market. You know, Eh, all these markets as well are new for them. And whatever we don't understand at the beginning, and whatever is new for us, it will take some time to get some regulations. Are you there?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can. Are you freezing
Let's
up
see.
again? You're still on.
Oops. Okay, can you
I
hear?
can hear you, but your video froze. There you go. Whoop, now you're back. Oh, he'll be back in a minute. These crypto markets are going to be volatile. Even if there is regulation, they're still going to be extraordinarily volatile. I don't see that ending anytime soon because people are there to make money, to trade in, trade out. So as these things settle in, and as people get more comfortable with it, I think things will stabilize a little bit more then.
I'm sorry if I keep coming drop off and do something, but I don't think
You-
the my connection here is the Wi-Fi here is not that good probably. Uh, right now I am not in my regular studio at home, so but I'm sorry guys. I was trying to do my best here.
No worries. It happens. We all have technical difficulties over the years. My God, if we had $1 for every technical difficulty we had, we'd be rich. We would never
That's
need a
true.
sponsor on this show ever. We'd have millions of dollars.
Right.
Yeah. But
So go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, the market I think is going to taper off. If there's some profits to be had this week, I would suggest taking them. And if you lose a little bit on re-entry, it's still worth locking your profits in because I do think this is going to correct itself.
Yeah, I think it will. And like you say, whoever had the opportunity to go in and just do it, just go ahead and do it. But don't forget, hey, we're here to make money. And if you are in the crypto market, it's just to make money. It's like another business. So
Mm-hmm.
just, it's good to be aware of, uh, to be knowing where you're going to be in or out. So, and as far the media, as you mentioned, media has been going
Yes.
crazy. Yeah. So,
Look, so I've been reading a lot, and I sent in the in our show, our backstage show. I was telling you, or telling Faz, here's what some of these people keep saying, and it's pretty consistent. And part of that is this media push and platform, especially X, right? As a platform, is kind of the new media. And people aren't buying into the MSNBCs and the NBCs and all these weird old school traditional. They're realizing the manipulation that's going on.
mhm,
And you have the
yeah.
other side of X, which is there's a lot of people who don't like to see true freedom of speech. So with that trend moving along, do you think that that's sustainable even?
Uh, I think at some point, human being has to be at some point under control. Okay. And remember, we are wild. And hello?
Yep, you're good. I think we're going to lose him again. Oh, there he goes.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good. And you can't hear me. He's probably going to drop again. He's there. I can hear you, Zorro. Whoop, he'll be back. I think it's a good thing. The traditional media, I haven't bought into the traditional news in a very long time. I don't watch it anymore. I don't pay attention to it. It is a bunch of propaganda. And they've said before, and people don't, I don't think, internalize it, that there's one company that basically owns all the media outlets. And to me, that's a problem. They had a viral video that went around a few years back where they did this grid of like 20 different news agencies from, like local stations from all over the United States. And they were literally all saying the exact same script. And it's owned by people who have narratives to push, have a financial incentive to push narratives. Whereas the platforms like X, it allows you to just kind of say whatever you want. Now, there's a lot of people that don't like that because they deem it as unreliable or misinformation. I mean, that's subjective though, right? I still lean towards that being okay. What about you?
I think it's okay. But I don't know. I mean, everything has been changed so much from the traditional media to now X, let's gonna call it that way. That it's incredible. It's incredible how much with X the information that you can get faster, I guess cheaper, let's gonna call it that way, and a real information. But that's another thing as well that I don't think that everything I see now on X is real. There's
Right.
a lot of AI involved in there, and that.
Right.
So now I think the next challenge that we're gonna have is what is real or not. What is AI or what is a real human news or something that happens somewhere in the world? That's going to be the big question now. What is going to be actually 100% real? I mean, and I think I saw a Twitter that Elon were talking about, well, now the news is the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but now people have these tools that we never had before, and we don't know what will become legit or not. So I don't know.
That's tough.
That's gonna be real tough.
You can install programs right now that'll turn me into a rabbit, and you won't be able to tell that I'm not a real rabbit. And they do those things where they do the parodies, right? Where they'll have Nancy Pelosi or somebody standing up there, and she's like, "I love chicken wings with extra barbecue sauce." And there's a lot of people that believe that. They just look at it and they assume because it's a credible source that it's real. Right. And there's wild conspiracy. This whole thing with them wearing those masks. Have you followed this at all? And it's not really any of these celebrities. It's all just people wearing masks, and it is going to be tough. And there was a news article that just broke today, and I don't have it on this computer, but it's a clip of Bill Gates, and he's talking about how he wants to use AI to go onto the internet and scrub all of the misinformation off of the platform, anywhere, even private web pages. And the problem that I have with that is that there's one person deciding then who programs, or one entity programming that AI to decide what misinformation is. I think people have been spoiled over time in that they can trust whatever they hear on TV because it's TV, or because it's their favorite anchor, or anything associated with the credibility of that source, that whatever they say is 100% true. And I think we've found out over the last few years that whether it's the X platform, NBC, or anywhere else, there's going to be what everybody would deem misinformation depending on the topic, because it boils down to your core beliefs. You're going to follow the news agency, and you're going to follow the people that you want to hear that information from, that you relate to, and that you believe in. And this just gives more options, unlike the network news, which is obviously all geared towards presenting narratives. Whereas you have your independent news channels that will present a different light. We have Fox News, which has traditionally been leaning right. We have CNN, which traditionally leans left. If you lean those directions, you're generally going to follow that news source. I'm glad that there's someone breaking open that mold a little bit. It is a little bit scary, sure, because it's not what we're used to. But stepping out of your comfort zone is how you grow. If you never step out of your comfort zone, if you always do the things that are super comfortable for you and the way that you've always done things, I think you're going to find that it makes you feel better, but it doesn't allow you to grow as a person. So being able to take in information from a lot of different sources with a lot of different opinions, and then forming your own opinion and running with it, to me, that's the way to go. Instead of just having one source that whatever they say is the gospel. Zorro seems to be having some pretty good technical problems. So we'll move on from the media. And I want to talk a little bit about some of these new things. We just talked about, I think it was like a little over a week ago on the show here, we talked about how Claude has a Autobot now. You load this program through Claude, and it will allow Claude to run your computer for you and get results for you and book appointments for you and do all this cool stuff. Well, apparently, Google has been working on something very similar. I don't know if they did it first and Claude just beat them to it, whatever, but they're just about ready to launch. And you know how this goes, right? So it was leaked. It's called Jarvis. It's Google's Autobot. And when they say leaked, right, you never know if it was intentional or accidentally on purpose is the way they put it, or if it was a true accident. But it made it to the Chrome web store, and people downloaded it and tried to get it to work. And I guess it didn't work. It was missing one of the core fundamental pieces that made that happen. Okay. But the point is that these Autobots are starting to come out now, where it's going to automate your machine. You're going to load it onto your machine. You're going to talk to your machine and have it do things for you. Google had that on their Google branded phones, the Google Assistant. It was the AI assistant. And this thing is amazing. I think we even pulled up and played on FazRadio the example where this Google Assistant on the phone made the phone call and booked a haircut appointment. All the user did was said, I want to get a haircut sometime between Tuesday and Thursday next week after 4:00. And the woman at the hairstylist, and this is still on YouTube, you can look it up, Google, or put in YouTube something like Google Assistant call to book a hair appointment or something. It pops right up. Anyway, this assistant on the phone makes the phone call. It dials the phone call. It makes the appointment. It sets the appointment. It negotiates the time, the whole 9 yards, does it for you, and then adds it to your calendar. And this was probably 2 years ago. And that was mind-boggling. And I have a Pixel myself. My daily driver, what I use all the time, is an iPhone, but for business, my business phone, I have a Pixel. And I've used that assistant, and it's amazing. It screens my calls for me. It does a great job, does a lot of really cool automated things. But this is for your main computer, right? And or your main mobile phone. And that's a lot of permission for one app to have. I don't know if I like that yet. I don't mind the onesie twosie one off, hey Jarvis, go do this for me. But to actually have full control of everything, and I don't know. You're trusting it with your data, right? You don't know if it's going to be accessing your data when you're in standby. I mean, you'd have to look at all this stuff. I think that is the future, though. I think that's where we're going to go, whether we like it or not. And Faz, who isn't here tonight, he had something vitally important he had to do. Since day one of the show, and I've known the guy for 30 years, and he's been the same the whole time. When it comes to privacy and security and things like that, he even knows that it's not easy. And his phrase is, just pick who you trust the most. So if you trust Google the most with your data, or Apple the most with your data, or OpenAI or Claude or whoever it might be, you kind of have to pick somebody at this point. We don't have anything decentralized good enough yet to totally opt out of that system. But pick who you trust the most and go with it. I know a lot of people don't have the luxury of setting up another spare computer or another spare phone with none of their personal data on it just to play with it. I'm a little fortunate. I have a couple of these old boxes that I used to have that I can wipe and use to play with and test with. I throw Linux systems on there, whether it's Fedora, Ubuntu, and I don't log into any of my accounts. I wipe the drive and I'll try stuff like this. And it is a little concerning, it asks for permissions to certain things. But I want to try it because I do think that that's where we're going to end up. Kind of like we're living in the future, like the Jetsons, for those of you who are old enough to remember the Jetsons. Everything should be automated. And I hope that they put those privacy rails in there enough, because data is big business. I'm hoping they're going to do the right thing with that data. And if you have the ability, the means to have a separate box where you're not logged into all your stuff, or you can log in minimally, create maybe a second personality on there to where you can test it without giving up too much, I encourage you to do that as you test these and play with these. I think this is an awesome thing. We're getting to a point where automation is really going to start helping humans, everyday humans, at a much, much better level. And by the way, since Zorro left, I got to bust his chops a little bit. Since Zorro left, our viewership has tripled. But, that I don't know why. Just kidding. So when we think about where the end game is, the end game is you. They want you to have that ability to feel comfortable in their system. And that's going to take a lot. If I were to give this to my mother, right? My mom's a boomer. So it took me years to convince her to even get any device whatsoever. She refuses to have a cell phone. She has an old clamshell model. I told her she has to have one just in case. But as far as a device, no smart devices. I finally got her to buy into a Chromebook because she was terrified of viruses. So she has a Chromebook. She's been using it. She likes it. She doesn't use it to her potential. But when I showed her YouTube, and she can go and find all like the old Carol Burnett episodes and everything else. But and I've talked about this before on FazRadio, she won't even take it to the point where she'll log in with her bank. And I told her, I said, listen, if you don't do it, if you don't claim your account and somebody else claims your account and sets the password, that's worse than you having it set up and then just not using it. Because at least that way you control the account. But tech is going to get to that point where it's going to do everything for you. It's going to recognize Face ID is on the phones now. Face ID will be on the webcam. Well, I'm using a camera, but it's considered kind of like a webcam. That camera will use Face ID, recognize me, and I'll be able to talk through this microphone instead of using a mouse and a keyboard. And even the voice recognition is getting better. These AI functions are getting exponentially better. Every time you turn around, every 6 months, there's like these huge leaps. I'm very, very excited for this. I'm not as nervous as most people might be. What do you guys think? Poor Zorro can't reconnect. So it's just you listening there and me talking. I don't want to be a talking robot here. Tell me what you guys think about this revelation in AI and your privacy concerns. And is it worth, would you take Jarvis and install it as an extension and put it in your browser that has your whole browsing history and all your logins and your MetaMask attached to it and all that kind of stuff? Does that make you comfortable? Because I won't install something like that on anything I have crypto wallets attached to. It's going to be an empty box that doesn't have my bank credentials, that doesn't have any of that, because the security part of it bothers me a little bit. I talked to someone really smart not too long ago. I think it was Sunday or Monday, on Discord. We had a conversation, and that kind of came up about these browser extensions. And apparently, because I'm not a programmer or anybody smart like that, apparently most of these extensions give like ridiculous permissions. You can basically do anything once you install that extension. So you got to be real careful. I didn't know that. I'm a dummy when it comes to that stuff. I assume, again, there's the problem, the word assume. I assume that the browser and or the extension has certain limits that would be imposed upon it in order to be able to integrate. But apparently that's not the case. Though browser extensions are fairly dangerous from a security standpoint, from what I understand. Hopefully we'll have our resident security expert on soon that can maybe talk a little bit more about that. A lot of you love Dixie. We're going to have Dixie back on very soon, who can walk us through some more of this security stuff. That's all that we had for you tonight. I hope that all of you definitely take a look at these new AI breakthroughs. If anybody gets a hold of Jarvis in the meantime and has any feedback, hit us up in Discord. Shanrat, let's see what we got here. Things are getting complicated, brings a lot more problems. I don't mind innovation, but sometimes they aren't needed or wanted. Unfortunately, it's a lot of times you are forced. You are. Sometimes you don't have a say in this stuff. I know we had an argument here on FazRadio, I want to say it was last year, about what goes on behind the scenes with Microsoft Windows. Faz is very, very deep into the Microsoft system. And he was explaining some of the things that go on under the hood there that I had no idea about. And to me, that's a problem. But here's the thing. In order to enjoy the tech, you have to play by the rules of the person that created the tech. And that goes for AI, that goes for computers, that goes for operating systems, that goes for the company that you bank with. Anybody, you've got to play by their rules if you want to be in their system. And you've got to be careful, and you've got to be more conscious of what decisions you're making there. I want to see as much innovation as possible. I don't want to see anybody get hurt by it, but I do want to see innovation, and people will fail on occasion. You'll have tech that will absolutely bomb. Like we had the discussion about, what was his name? The the Tesla robot, Optimus. You might get Optimus and spend the $25,000 to bring Optimus into your house, and you find out that it glitched with an update and now it won't turn on, or it glitched in the middle of executing something that you gave it that's maybe a little too complicated. It's going to happen. And there's going to be the first 10 electric cars that came out. Faz will tell you the story about his first somewhat electric hybrid kind of car. He loved it, but there were a lot of problems with it. And it's come full circle now with Tesla and some of these others. There's some foreign companies that are coming up with some great battery technology. I just saw an article yesterday. I think it was yesterday. How they've the problem with lithium batteries, right? There's the whole mining stuff for people who are into the environment. They don't like the lithium batteries because of what it does to the earth and things like that. Also, they're highly flammable, right? You drop them in water, that lithium like explodes. So that's like really dangerous. And lithium batteries, even though they're not like the old batteries where you can get a lot more charging cycles out of them and they don't have memory and stuff like that, they still can't get a lot out of it. They just developed, and I want to say it was China. I want to say China. I might be wrong on that, though. I'm pretty sure it was China. Have just come up with the technology for saltwater batteries. Well, this planet has plenty of saltwater resources available. And these cells are not anywhere near as flammable. Of course, you're running electricity through them, so it's always going to be at least somewhat flammable. But you can charge them for more than 700 cycles. The average, apparently, of a lithium battery is like 600 to 700 cycles before they degrade to a point where you're not going to want to use them anymore. So this can go apparently more than 700 cycles easily and is extraordinarily efficient because of the way that they set the current to go up through this salt water. I think that's awesome. This is the kind of innovation that we need. We need the guardrails taken off of the way people think about how they're developing this technology too. I can go on a whole rant here about the education system and how it limits you. But what I want to say is, for these people who are going off the rails with things like using salt water as a battery conduit, that's epic. That is the kind of innovation that we need. That's the kind of tech that will break through over the long term. You got to try it. I've always wanted to build. I've been into this. You know me. I'm like, tighten the conspiracy nut, right? I do believe in the free energy thing. And I know people are like rolling their eyes and gnashing their teeth right now when I say that. But I've always wanted to come up with some kind of contraption with the magnets, right? That'll spin the wheel, which will hook into a car alternator, which will then generate electricity, and you can pull that out, and the magnets will have unlimited energy. I've always wanted to try that. Maybe I will. I'm talking about people innovating. Maybe I'll order some magnets off of Amazon tonight. I also have been watching a lot on the technology of power that Tesla used to have and harnessing what we have here. I think geothermal needs to be explored a lot more. That's an unlimited source, literally unlimited source of power. And when you figure in the cost versus what you get out of it, yeah, it'll cost you $20 billion to build a geothermal plant, but you'll be able to power unlimited power for 4 states in the U.S. if you tap into the geothermal. And there's a lot of places you can put that. These technology breakthroughs, I hope that the financial aspect of that and the greed and the ability of those who hold back technology for the sake of enriching themselves begins to open up now that we're making these large leaps. with technology. And I hope that AI will help empower us to all get to that point. I could probably look up instructions on how to do that magnet power generator thing. I'll bet you it would tell me how to do it. I'll bet you. I'm going to do that after I'm off of here. I'm going to do that. AI can help us get there. But you've got to remember that you've got to participate some in order for this to advance. Yes, they have to have your data. They have to know what you're searching for. They have to know what you're looking at. They have to know how those instructions work for you so it can train itself to be better. So I'm not saying let your guard down, but what I'm saying is remember that research requires results. And the results in the case of AI is how you use it, what you use it for, and sharing some, at least, of that information back to the creators of that AI so that they can make it better. All right, boys and girls. FazRadio Friday is out for this week. We expect to be back at full strength with Faz, Titan, and Zorro next week. As always, you never know what you're going to get until then. Have a good weekend. Talk to you later.